It was 2 a.m. when I started this mission. And now the sun's about ready to wake up and shine, and the secret is out. The genuine taste of camel at the end of the trail.
Hey there, Teddy Rubskin here. And yeah, this is the first episode of a series where we're going to be talking about tobacco products. Yeah, tobacco. Like cigarettes and shit. Specifically about R.J. Reynolds, one of the biggest tobacco companies in the world. You know, they make Camel cigarettes, Winston's, and a whole bunch of other fucking cigarettes, right? They're constantly advancing the world of cigarette technology. And in the early 80s, they had a revolutionary new idea. A cigarette that was, well, it's going to be safer, cleaner, and better for you, right? Yeah. In fact, this new cigarette they called the Premier, they spent hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development, you know, in laboratories trying to make this fucking thing like the safest, cleanest cigarette you've ever fucking smoked. In fact, it's not even smoked, right? No. This cigarette doesn't burn tobacco. It, like, cooks it.
A cigarette that eats tobacco rather than burning it. Introducing Premier.
Right? Yeah, this is a revolutionary new rethinking of the whole idea of tobacco. Yeah, and you really got to go inside the cigarette to see what's going on here, right? And you see, it starts with the tip. The tip is actually like carbon, right? It's like a little carbon thing there, like a piece of charcoal, which really literally works like a piece of charcoal. When you light it up, it kind of heats up, right? And then when you suck through the cigarette, it pulls that hot air through the cigarette and like cooks the tobacco inside it, right? Like cooks it, doesn't burn it, it cooks it, and that makes it cleaner, right? Because you're not inhaling the harmful carcinogens and shit, right? You're just inhaling some tasty, delicious cooked tobacco aroma and shit, right? Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the idea, you know. You smoke these cigarettes, and they don't really produce much smoke, right? Not much smoke comes out of the tip of the thing. In fact, it produces no ash whatsoever. It never shrinks, right? Because the tobacco's not burning away. It's just cooking inside the fucking cigarette. And eventually it'll lose its flavor, right? And then you don't dispose of the cigarettes like regular cigarette butts. You got to put them back inside the pack and dispose of them later, because, yeah, there's some complicated shit inside there. A little piece of charcoal on the tip, you know. There's actually some metal that runs through the whole cigarette, you know, to conduct the heat so it actually cooks the fucking tobacco properly and shit. It's crazy advanced technology in a fucking cigarette, right? But the problem was that this process of like cooking the tobacco in your cigarette didn't really work so well. No. And if you actually lit it with a match rather than with a lighter, like they recommend, use a regular butane lighter. If you light it with a match, the match will have a weird effect on the cigarette and make it taste like shit.
Like shit?
Yeah, makes it taste like fucking shit. So somehow the fucking match interacts badly with the carbon and releases a stank, right? This is stanky, shitty taste, right?
What the hell's wrong with that? I don't smell anything.
That's not the way to find out, sir. You see, if you light a Premier with a match instead of a lighter, the sulfur reacts badly with the carbon in the tip.
Do we have to have the carbon?
Well, that's what makes it smokeless.
Well, how do we get it shitless?
Yeah, because it actually literally tastes like shit and smells like a fart.
Tastes like shit and smells like a fart. We got ourselves a real winner here. It's one goddamn unique advertising slogan, I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, that's pretty bad. What they ended up with was cigarettes that taste like turds that nobody fucking wanted, right? And they spent literally hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development making these fucking things, you know? They spent all this money on the technology and the science behind the fucking thing. Holy shit.
We poured enough technology into this project to send a cigarette to the moon, and we come up with one that tastes like it took a dump?
Yeah, and not just money spent on the fucking research and development of the fucking thing, but all the fucking advertising, all the print advertising and magazines and billboards and all over the fucking place. And cardboard stands that they had set up at convenience stores and stuff, right? In fact, there's a new kind of way of smoking cigarettes altogether. So there was actually like displays that had like brochures that you could read about it and really understand what kind of technology goes into these fucking things. And they were hoping that people were going to be buying them out the fucking ass, right? Like people would be going home with like 3 fucking cartons of these things. Yeah, but no, it didn't fucking happen. Because they taste like shit and smell like a fart, right? And apparently they're really hard to fucking drag on, right?
And what the hell wrong with a draw? You need an extra set of lungs just to take a drag.
It is a little difficult.
A little difficult.
It's what we call the hernia effect.
Is that what we call it?
Yeah. Because of the design of the fucking cigarette, it was really hard to, like, take a puff, You had to really fucking suck on that thing to get any fucking smoke out of it. And it really didn't get any smoke out of it because it was designed not to produce any smoke,
A smoke that dissipates almost the moment you exhale. And after the first few puffs, there's virtually no smoke from the lid end. Since Premier doesn't burn tobacco, it doesn't burn down, so there's no burnt tobacco ash.
Yeah, not much smoke comes out the end. No smoke comes out the tip. It's supposed to be smokeless, right? It's supposed to be smokeless, but just sucking on the thing, right, was a pain in the ass.
Warning, this cigarette can tear your balls off.
In all kinds of ways, it was a huge fucking disaster, right? Pre-Mig, it was just a huge fucking flop, a horrible fucking financial disaster for R.J. Reynolds as a company. In fact, it almost caused the company to go out of business, right? The aftershocks felt from this fucking disaster. It eventually caused, like, the company to lose a shitload of money. Then the vultures started fucking swarming to try and buy out R.J. Reynolds while it was in fucking financial trouble. And shit. Just a whole lot of fucking shit ended up happening because of the disaster that was the Premier of the Premier fucking cigarette that fucking completely fucking belly flopped to the market. Nobody wanted the shit cigarette, right? Nobody wanted these turd sticks. So, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you stand at the threshold of a new era in smoking enjoyment. You are about to introduce one of the most dramatic advances in the history of the tobacco industry.
Yeah, and one of the biggest flops in the history of the tobacco industry. Wow, Premier lost hundreds of millions of dollars and almost destroyed the company. But even stranger than that, while that flopped back in the late 80s, they actually ended up rebranding the fucking Premiers and selling them, like in the mid-90s, as Eclipse. That's right. The Eclipse is actually the same exact cigarette, or kind of cigarette thing with the fucking charcoal tip and the fucking, where you cook the tobacco instead of burning it, right? But instead of calling Premier, they called them Eclipse. But those cigarettes didn't sell very well either, right? So they were around in like 94 or so, and then they stopped making those. And then they rebranded them again and called them Revo, right? Revo, which they actually sold up until like 2014. So even though these fucking cigarettes fucking flopped, they kept trying to sell them by calling them different things. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, fucking nuts, right? But I mean, after the dramatic failure of the Premier, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco would actually end up doing some pretty nefarious things, kind of almost because of the failure of the Premier. But we'll get into that in another fucking video, right? Yeah, until then, fucking keep it real.
I'm excited about Premier as the first of a new generation of advanced technology products that will position RJR for the future.
Smoking?
No,
You're going to smoke out a cigarette, though. Well,
just a dab.
Tastes like shit, too.
Like shit? Shit was the consensus, yes, sir.
You know, someone was asking me the other day, what am I going to do when this product goes to market? And what I'd like to do is to be able to just sit down, have a drink or two or three, and watch the product fly off the shelf, because I think it will. We have a tremendous product, we have a tremendous promotion plan, and with the combination of those two things, we just have to win.
Stop jerking off, Ed. Who the hell would sneak into a John to smoke one of these? Wherever you light one up, you're in the shit house.
Tastes like shit, too.
Tastes like shit and smells like a fart. We got ourselves a real winner here. It's one goddamn unique advertising slogan, I'll give you that.